عصفورة غطت على ظهري طلعت فيه بعين واحدة شكلها صارلها فترة أنا وأنا نمني سألت شو همومي كتروني الشغل شكله خافف وابني عالبطالة جايتي من البيت تحتيني شكلك عملي ومنا هرباني طول عمرك شمخة على حبلك ناظرة علي وعلي قبلي مفهومك ولا طلعت أنا الهبلة وينو هالعريس ودخلك وينو ابني إيمي ورا مثل عينة تاني عين ولا مرة شفتها بزماني نظرة واحدة سكتتني لبستني فستاني وشلستني وقالت لي
Hi, what we're going to cover today is insight that Facebook has shared at one of their events about Ramadan, our usage throughout the Middle East with during Ramadan. So how are we consuming content? What channels are we spending the most time on? What type of content are we engaging with? There are interesting insights that they've shared, such as the peak times. They're after midnight. So I'll be sharing some of that. And they also compare the activity online of the month of Ramadan to different months. So I'll go ahead and get started by sharing the information that we have. All right, so the information that we'll be covering, so there are two parts. One part is the shopping behavioral change during the holy month, how we buy differently during the month, and the tactics that we can use during and after the holy month. So in terms of volume, we're looking at a large volume throughout the Middle East and other parts of the world of activity during the holy month. And one thing in particular that I like is what Facebook did was they compared the volume of activity during the holy month compared with other days. So we're looking at the start of the holy month and the end. If you want to compare that with New Year's Eve and Mother's Day, which are key Eid al-Adha as well. So you get to see the different volumes that you have here. And if we look at our behavioral shifts, so what are our behaviors online? What's different about those? So obviously food is a core focus of what we eat and what we consume online. And then there's a second aspect, which is the what we care about from a cultural perspective. And the third aspect, which is togetherness. So how interested are we in spending time with our family members across different parts of the holy month at different times of the day? And how much we spend time on entertainment and consumption. So that's usually also time where we spend consuming the content there, and our shopping behavior. 150 million messages. So 150 million people mention the term Happy Eid. So they engage with Eid greetings as a volume of conversation. From a shopping perspective, the nighttime is the active time for us. So the nighttime. So we're looking at an increase of, so we're looking at 78% of the activity is during the night. During the day, it's more or less the same, but at night is when the activity is when consumers go online to buy. Something that I found particularly interesting is the spike of activity. It's not midnight, it's not 1 a.m., it's not 2, it's actually at 3 a.m. So 3 a.m. is the spike of the consumption of our purchasing behavior. So when we buy online and the content that we consume. So if you're a business and you cater to selling during this month, you'd want your customer support to reflect this late time. You want your content posting. You want your so you want the support team be able to respond to tickets and comments and questions, because it's a 3 a.m. spike, 3 a.m. spike in content consumption, purchasing, and that type of activity there. So don't do the mistake of other brands of they do the 9 to 5 and then they ignore the activity of their users. So when we talk about Facebook, we're talking about the family, the big family of Facebook. So Facebook is the blue app, and Messenger and Instagram, and this also doesn't include WhatsApp. So if you add WhatsApp to the mix, we are on one of those. There is no way about it. You have to be likely actively on one of those platforms. Now, when we look at the purchase planning, so what people are buying on the internet, so we're looking at food, household products, clothing and fashion, jewelry, and others. So travel is going to take a hit this year due to the business realities of COVID, but it tends to be also it used to have an initial spike in that. Now, if you're looking to plan, always in anything that you're looking to plan to do, there are two components. There's the brand awareness, and then there's the conversion. So the ask, when you're asking for something to happen. So it's called the direct response. So when you look at brand awareness means what do you stand for, what do you do, and how, what's of interest to you, what content around this is of interest from a brand awareness perspective. So that in that you tend to look at measuring reach, video views if it's a video, lift time. So those are the metrics. So make sure that you don't mix the metrics between the brand awareness part and the actual call to action. So when we go to the second part, which is the call to action, which is the direct response, that is more on the conversion side. So you're asking somebody to download your app and sign up. You're asking somebody to visit, to buy, to take a certain action. So the KPIs of the direct response is different than the KPIs for the brand awareness. And it's different depending on what type of business you're in. So if you're in fintech and retail, automotive, consumer goods. So there are different business outcomes and different brand awareness and conversions requested. So a lot of our stores are closed now. Eventually, at some point, they will open. But with the realities of COVID, the stores are closed. But keep in mind that when you're back, you'll be able to target locations around you. So you can say that my store is in this location. It's on JBR Beach in Dubai, for example, and you can target a certain a radius around this in order to attract the residents in that location. There are different types of components, different types of elements that you can look at in terms of, especially the collections, which are a combination of different elements that you can put together for people to shop in one go, in addition to other types. Now, one thing that Facebook has been pushing for a while is the different assets that they can promote your product. So what they've done is, instead of waiting for brands to figure out that they have to have different sizes of images and videos and text for the different platforms, they've used their machine algorithm to resize and repurpose across the different assets. So you're looking at the Facebook pages, you're looking at Messenger, Instagram, the stories across Facebook and Instagram. So across all of the different platforms, including the audience network. So from a content perspective, we're spending a lot more time during the holy month of Ramadan. And after that, the realities of COVID. So we're spending much more time consuming content. So this is direction for what content that we tend to consume with, and it might give a direction for what the brand would want to create if it's relevant to what it's trying to do. And keep in mind how this content that people are interested in consuming is actually related to the areas that we have, which are food, consciousness, togetherness, entertainment, and shopping. Now, when it comes to delivery, so these are guidelines shared by Facebook, but these are not related to the platform itself, but more for what you do after you've gotten the awareness and the activity and the transaction via the Facebook different platforms. So one of the aspects is product accuracy, so making sure that the pictures and the specifications on your product actually reflect the real item. And then when it comes to shipping, especially during the business realities of COVID-19, shipping is not the way it used to. So I'd be more realistic in the bios on Instagram and what you promise your customer. say it's 3 working days, 7 working days, 10 working days, whatever is more realistic, so that if you set expectations with the user, you will decrease the level of friction. This way, the customer knows that when they're buying this, it's going to take them a while to see it, to get it. And customer service, from customer service perspective, especially when we're talking about the different times when it comes to, so we spoke about the different times of what users are looking at. So customer service is expected here, especially if you're trying to sell something online. So we're looking at after midnight at the 5 a.m., which is very tricky operationally to set up. Even if you can't, just make sure when you do the customer service part that you're able to service them quickly, even during the day. So let's say you're unable to do the after midnight one. So during the day that you're able to service them quickly and share the information that you need in that regard. Now, so when it comes to accuracy, product accuracy, the shipping and customer service, so these are different recommendations and guidelines provided by Facebook for you operationally to execute on this. So this is not directly within their platform. This is for them to give you and your customer a better experience after they actually buy something from you, after you promoted your product or service within Instagram and Facebook. And yes, so if we are to summarize the key aspects, we consume content very differently during the holy month, whether it's in terms of time, in terms of the topics, in terms of different categories. There are multiple places to place advertisements, and if you use many of the tools of Facebook, such as the dynamic creative ads, it will the algorithm will modify your images and videos and text in order to fit the multiple different locations. And always keep in mind that you have different objectives. One objective, don't mix the objective of the brand awareness from the direct response. So brand awareness, more of what do you stand for, what's important for you from a company perspective, how do you pack things, how do you prepare, cleanliness, depends on what it is that your product is. And the direct response is when you're going in for the ask. You're asking for the download, the sign up, the purchase, the referral, the comment, whatever that might mean. So those are different KPIs with different objectives. So as always, if you have any questions related to business problems, what is it that you want to fix in your business, whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or a member of a business that has problems that needs fixing, I'm happy to answer any questions related to how to acquire customers, hiring and firing, business process for growth, and customer retention. So those are aspects I'll be able to help with and answer. Hey John, how are you? Thank you for coming. Hey John, how are you? If you have any questions, John, or you just want to say hi, I'm here. I'll be sharing if you reach out to me on DM, what I'll do is I'll send over the presentation. The focus, John, was mostly on in terms of what was done, in terms of the changes, the behavioral changes during the holy month, in terms of how we're consuming content during the holy month. What are we, the times that we're consuming the content, what type of content are we interested in? If you're managing or running a brand, what are the things that you would need to look for and consider? So if you chat to me by DM, I'll forward a copy for you. And yes, John, I'm based in Dubai. A lot of the focus, John, has been on the timing of the consumption. So the consumption of the content happens after midnight. So from midnight to 5 a.m. it peaks at 3 in the morning. So that's one of the key trends. The other key trend has to do with the categories of content shift more towards food, entertainment content, and it used to be travel, but now with the business realities of COVID-19, travel is not high up for anybody globally. So travel used to be a key element of that. And it's also after midnight, John, likely because of during the holy month, the consumption of food is different. The consumption of TV and online content is different. The social engagements are different. So that changes from what other months would look like. All right. So if there are any other questions related to business growth, content, acquiring customers, and so on. So yes, and John, yes, it's a common pattern during it's 1 month during the year. This 1 month during the year, that's usually when that pattern emerges. Yes, and it's systematically over many years. And Facebook has shared data that was in my presentation that I'll share with you if you DM me. It will show you behavioral patterns over many years and how they've cataloged it during this month. Yes, yes, I do, John. So I work with business owners to help them navigate their problems. So usually Dubai, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. So it depends on where the work is, but it's usually with business owners, helping them identify areas of growth, acquiring customers, customer support for retention, business process for scale. So those tend to be aspects that I do work in. With the time difference, John, you're yes, with the time difference now. All right. So if you DM me, I'll share the information with you. And if there are any other questions, reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I will take care of this. Thanks.